Hello everybody and welcome back to Imperator, where we are currently attempting to push our way through growth of Albania just as quickly as we can here. Of course, in order for this to happen, we need to queue up, well, we've already got our 2 tax office buildings. We need to queue up, let's see, this was the fort level here. We still do need a marketplace and 2 libraries, and we also need a city in Kamachia. So that's all going to be very important. We'll go ahead and take that forward. We have 11 months at this point, approximately, until we can get a city. So that's really, really good. And of course, we're going to need one more city beyond that in Udidorsi. So that'll be fine. And I want to check. Yeah, those are already the capital. Sounds good. So we need a marketplace and 2 libraries here. Now, that's going to be a little bit before those get started building. So the question becomes, do we want to build a settlement building first? We've got over a year still until this fortress is done. A line just appeared here. Did that show up in the recording? I'll have to check that if I remember. I probably won't remember that, but maybe that was my monitor, or maybe that was the game. I don't know. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. Anyway, that's not relevant, and we need to get our progress going on the marketplace. And it only appeared for a fraction of a second, so we're going to build a library and 2 marketplaces here, but I think that we wait on those, because I would like to build additional mines, farming settlements, slave estates. Those will all be very, very useful going forward. They're not really super long-term investments. They're kind of medium-term investments. They're certainly not short-term investments in most cases. But they will help our population growths be far more impactful as this game goes on. So we're going to build a single mine, and that will be in Karana. Perfect. And at this point, now this money should be earmarked into getting the library and the 2 marketplaces here. The real question is, do we go for the marketplaces first or for the library first? And I think the answer there is the library first. We have some tech issues. Now, we do have a province that's going to rebel. That's fine. We fully understand that, and we know that that's going to happen. That's okay. We will let that happen, and we'll just crush the rebellion. It's not a big deal. So we're making 20 gold per month, and that's a pretty decent place to be at, but I want that higher. Substantially higher. So that is definitely something that we're going to look at doing. This fortress is going to finish here, and unfortunately, the fortress is going to cut into our income over here, but I guess that's fine. We're going to put in our library first, and then we're going to put in our 2 marketplaces, since the marketplaces... Oh, we don't have the people. Right, we've got 4 building slots. And we've already got 2 tax offices. We've got plenty of housing. So we could move pops in here. 1 for every 10 pops, huh? That makes aqueducts awkward. Very awkward indeed. How's the pop growth going? It's going to take a while. It is definitely going to take a while. We could move pops in. Like some of these honey producers. Wouldn't be too awful. It would cost gold to do that. And we'd have to move quite a lot of them. Because in order to get 1 additional building slot, we would need to get... what, 7 pops moved in? Indeed. I wonder. So we run this, and after this is done, we destroy the fortress. That'll get us a building slot, and then we only need to move 7 pops in here. So we'll move this one, we'll move this one, and that's moving from leather. That's fine. This is costing us gold, and I'm aware of that. And we'll just move in like that. So that gives us a building slot for a marketplace. We'll queue that up. The fortress will be finishing in 8 days, which will allow us to run this, which will take a year, and we'll get that started. So territory, provincial loyalty, and migration attraction. Cool. Tensions have been growing between the Armenian colonists and locals in... It's just a period. I don't know where this is. The locals claim that our settlers are rejecting local traditions and power structures. Our colonists, on the other hand, claim that the locals are only alarmed because the new Armenian settlement is surpassing the existing metropolis of the region. Okay, so an Albanian freeman and an Albanian slave would become Armenian, and they get a bunch of local population unhappiness for 5 years. Or we could get stunted growth. We're going to support the Armenian interests. That's the better long-term play there, in my opinion. Vahan Arantid has sent word that he has fallen ill. Perhaps if he's wealthy enough, he'll seek treatment of his own volition. Otherwise, we could always step in if his condition worsens. He is our primary heir. And that's the succession support. Where do we actually see his... There's his wealth. He's sponsoring games. I'm sure he'll be fine. Interesting. So he has an infection. Sure. So we're going to right-click that because we are not interested in running bread and surfaces. Oh my. Bread and circuses right now. We do have the political influence at the moment to upgrade our city over here, Kamachia. However, what we don't have is the cash. We will have that in under a year. In fact, 8 months is what we're looking at. Nikor Amatuni has escaped his casters and fled to the cursed lands of Asaria. Okay. Cool. So we're at this point saving up our gold to promote this up to a city status. That'll be fine. And this mine will be finishing up in 160 days. How long on this? 27 May 484. Okay, so we're about 6 months in. Thereabouts. Actually, a little less than that. We're like half, not even half done. We're like a third done. That'll take a little time, but we'll get rid of the fort once we're done with that, and that'll be great. We'll ditch the fortress and replace that with a marketplace, which will allow us to move down without increasing the population here. These guys are breaking their alliance with us? Okay, cool. They plan to declare war on you, your ally, or your league member. Be prepared for anything. Yeah, I'm not scared of them. So that'll be fine. If they declare on us, we're actually okay with that. We'll take all their territory. Literally all of it. So that would be great. Our economy is plenty strong for that. As part of the strengthening of the governor's office in Tigranakert, I guess, a great number of local officials have been sent out to measure, document, and assess all land in Albania. As always, when such a survey is undertaken, it can become clear how local records have been outdated or even manipulated to a large degree. As a reaction to this, it turns out that Vahan Polypershid, whose family owns land in the region, has now petitioned us to exempt some specific pieces of public land from this examination. 91 gold for that, but we would gain 20 corruption. No. We'll let the survey continue unhindered. Unhindered is not a word. Just for the record, throwing that out there. That's not how words work. So we're a little over halfway done strengthening this region. That's perfect. And we are finishing up our marketplace soon. Okay, whether because there was no actual foul play or because the Polypershid family also managed to bribe our officials, we cannot be sure. But the survey we undertook in Albania has not turned up any greater problems with ownership of land or other assets. It is true that the Polypershid family owns much property in the region, but none of it is suspect, according to our scribes. Okay. I don't believe it, but sure. So our marketplace is going to be finishing up here, and we need a marketplace and 2 libraries. I had it backwards. That's actually better for us, for the record. Lately, our King Orontes III Orontid has come into conflict with Verisvagen or Aduni at every turn and decision, their opinions persistently clashing. If one of them says south, the other will promptly say north. If one wants to trade for a neighbor, the other will argue for war. This constant bickering is ruining whatever authority Orontes used to have, and the atmosphere in Armarura, that's definitely how we're pronouncing our capital from here on out for the record, is at a breaking point. So we could either lose popularity and he would gain popularity, or he would rival us and lose loyalty. Our popularity will drift up, so we'll go ahead and take that. Excellent. So as soon as this mission finishes on 27 May, here in just a couple more months, we are absolutely going to ditch our fortress here and replace that with a library. So that'll be perfect. And like I said, it's ideal that I had it backwards. I didn't want to build 2 marketplaces and a library. I would have preferred to go the other way. So this is perfect. We're going to put in a second library, but could we cancel it? Would it cancel if we destroyed the fort now? I actually want to forescience this. So we're going to make a save here. And we're going to find out. It has unfulfilled conditions. Fugitives have crossed the borders. We're going to welcome them. Okay, I'm interested in finding out what happens here. We're only about a month away. But we should definitely queue up the second library here. If it cancels it entirely and the mission... Okay, yeah, they broke their alliance with us. That's fine. If the mission goes away, then I'll revert back to that save. I just want to find out how, when it calculates this. Is it only at the beginning when you start the mission? Or does it check it at the end? That's something I really want to know. So let's find out here. 27 May, so right now. It finished. Beautiful. So if we go in here, we should see a modifier. That's a library. Where do we actually see the modifiers on this? I'm not actually sure. But regardless, it appears to have finished correctly. So that's fascinating. We're going to have this one finished up very shortly. And we have the cash to get this going. We definitely should do that. So that's absolutely fine. We'll get that started. And these are barbarians. Okay, we're not too upset about them fighting barbarians. We're interested in maybe attacking these guys eventually. We would rather that we get control of them than the Seleucid. That's for sure. But we would also like to see the Seleucid Empire kind of go away a bit. That would be nice. We're currently up to... Okay, we're down to 38.21% efficiency on our research. That needs work. There's no doubt about it. We need more nobles. The Seleucid Civil War has ended. It almost ended in the rebels' favor. Okay. They're on track to recovery. Cool. We're trying to remain fairly allied with them, so that should be fine. So this province is going to rebel or it might rebel in 1 month. They are indeed. Okay, cool. So we're going to raise up our levy force here. And we're going to raise up these guys. This will be more than sufficient to handle this. They will arrive over here in a while. It shouldn't take that long to get there, but we don't have any roads or anything. I would love to get some roads going, but that requires a particular martial advance, I believe. Siege ability there. That's all naval stuff. Maybe it was a civic advance? Actually, we can check in here and find out what we need. For roads. Oh yeah, it's a particular tradition, isn't it? That's a great holy site. Build road. Civic advances greater than 4. Okay, so they've changed that. Cool. Every road costs 50 gold. That's actually more expensive than that used to be too. Okay, good to know. That is something that we will do later. Of course, this is not the time for that because we can't. So that's okay. We're working on getting our political influence for our last city for our set of missions here. That is, of course, going to be Udidorsey that we need to get. So that will be just fine. We can get this one right now, and we're going to do exactly that. And then we're going to need to do this. It will need to have an aqueduct, a court of law, and a granary. So, I mean, if we were... That would be this city right here. If we were to do that... Population capacity... Local city building slots. So we're going to need some building slots. That's for sure. We could ditch the marketplace. I feel like the marketplace isn't hugely important there. And we could put in either a court of law or a granary. Probably the court of law. That does give us citizen desired ratio. So we drop the marketplace. We put in the court of law. Cool. Now, we could drop the tax offices to put in an aqueduct if we wanted to. That is an option, but not, I think, a great one. So we're going to head on in over here, see if we can chase these guys down a bit. They are, of course, rebelling against us, and there's ticking war score against us right now. That's fine. We are closing in on them. Unfortunately, it is winter right now, and they are taking some of our territory. That's to be expected. You can see pops are dying here, and I'm not super okay with that. But they don't have a chance of fighting this. I don't know why they're walking in here. Like, this is not going to work for them. This is very, very bad for them, in fact. Their 500 stack goes away. And we're going to cap that back by default, I think. We're going to split this in half. These guys are going to move up over here. And yeah, this is auto-capping due to the fort over here, I think. And these guys are moving into here. We may or may not catch them. Yeah, we did not. Cool. So we'll start our siege up here. We do have some sappers now, or siege engineers, rather. And we'll continue chasing them into Zara. So yeah, starting at minus 28%. That's fine. Our court of law is going to be finishing up over here soon enough. And we're kind of falling behind them right now, but as long as they're moving, they're not sieging, and that is exactly what we want. We want them to not be sieging. Oh, interesting. They are making a big mistake here. Specifically, we can come in like this and catch them. That was a huge, huge maneuvering mistake on their part. Okay, cool. So that is done. No problem here. They do have ticking war score still, but we have actually stack wiped their army and we captured their commander. So that's wonderful. We're going to move these guys up over this way. Our levy troops are plenty strong to make this happen. We're up to 0% on that siege, so that is beautiful. Fantastic progress there. And we got a bountiful harvest, 175 gold worth, in fact. We are going to immediately invest that into a couple of mines. Beautiful. We're up to 21% on this siege. Fantastic. And with those mines underway, we're going to continue to work up our cash. I mean, right now, we're a little bit low. There's no doubt about that. But that will be fine for the moment. So all we need here is an aqueduct, right? Which is going to require a building slot. And a granary. Aqueduct and a granary. We could ditch a tax office. And then move pops in. Like that. Move the pops in like that. Okay. And that allows us to start building the aqueduct or the granary. The granary might be a little bit better right now. Which one is granary? I can never remember. It's this one. Civilization level. And provincial food capacity. Yeah, that might be for the best. The sacking of Zagana, we are going to let the looting be gentle because this is our city. Cool. And this will wrap up this rebellion, of course. No problem here. We'll sue for peace, and we're going to take Armenia, or rather we're going to take this area for Armenia. We could lose aggressive expansion, gain popularity, lose popularity, or reduce culture happiness. We're going to, for now, just gain some popularity. Excellent. And we're going to need to disband our levy troops. Fantastic. So there's that problem solved. We're also going to ditch this fortress. Get out of here, you fortress. Nobody likes you. Excellent. So we're going to put in our granary here, I think. We actually can't build the aqueducts because our territory civilization level isn't quite high enough. Now, our current territory civilization level is 27. So building a granary will give us +2. And it is increasing per month. Cool. Actually, this +2 is +2%. So there's that. We do require a physician, and we do, I believe, have a scorned family, don't we? Yes. The Amatunis family. However, that's fine. We're going to put this guy in as our physician. He is the most qualified. And that'll do. So, Armenia Majoris might rebel in 60 months. That's fine. We're not concerned about that at this moment. We're going to continue going for civic tech investment. Beautiful. No problem whatsoever on that front. Our income is coming back up, so that is wonderful. We do need to have some of our pop growth happen. Like, we've killed some pops over here recently, which I'm not super happy about. Not super happy about that at all. Our granary is going to be finishing up over here shortly. And we're at 27.26. We're going up by 0.06 per month. Okay. The Royal Tutor is actually part of that. Interesting. As is the At Peace. 0.07 per month now. Cool. So I'm interested in seeing how much this changes. Does it change by 2 or does it change by 2%? We'll find out. We do have this going on. We could lose 10 popularity, or we could lose gold and gain stability and popularity. We're going to lose the popularity, although I'm not super happy about dipping down this far. We'll probably have to take some action on that front. Okay, so let's see here. May need to update this, or may need a month tick to update it. Because I'm not seeing any change here right now. So let's see what happens on the month tick. Okay. It changes by 2%. Not, in fact, by 2. That sounds good. So this needs to get to level 30. A civilization level, that civilization level, that civilization level, and this is civilization level as well. Cool. Now we're currently acquisitioning of wealth this, or acquisition of wealthing this. We could do like a civilization effort, but I mean, that would cost us political influence, and we're very close to being able to get our last city upgrade over here. We're 9 months away from that. Or actually, this one already happened. It is this one that needs to be upgraded to a city. That's okay. And what do we need in this? We're going to need a grand theater building. So we can go ahead and get a couple of citizens to appear there instantly. And then we would need a grand theater. The entire province is disloyal, so we can't do that right now. That's very rude. Very rude indeed. We do need a governor in Assyria. We will put in this guy. Okay. So what can we do about this? Like, I would like to provoke a rebellion over here. That would be ideal. As far as I know, there isn't really a good way to do that. So that's definitely very sad. Very sad indeed. We've almost got enough for this city, though, and that would be amazing. We do have enough in our treasury right now. We're just lacking the political influence. Now, our corruption is dropping our political influence gain by 20%, and is there anything we can do about that? Like, I want to go to this guy. I don't want to gain corruption. I'd like to drop corruption. But that is going up due to reduced wages. I didn't realize that would be affecting us. I realized it would be affecting everyone else. We'll go back to this for now. Now that is going to drop our income a little bit. I'm reasonably okay with that. I'm also going to build a mine in Zagana. We'll get that done for now as well. And we'll have enough to get our our third city over here for our mission fairly soon. But we're also going to need a grand theater over here, which means that we're going to need this to be loyal. So, I mean, that's going to rebel fairly soon, and that's okay. That is completely and totally okay. That's good for us, in fact. We want it to rebel. It is, however, time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to hopefully look at wrapping up this mission tree. There's very little left to be done, and that would be amazing. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.